Come see us on tour in Hartford, Connecticut, Syracuse, New York, Atlantic City, Levittown, New York, Cohoes, New York, Los Angeles, Bakersfield, San Jose, Buffalo, Toledo, Montreal, and Toronto. Go to jimmydore.com for the cheapest tickets.
So Donald Trump appearing to get tough for a moment with Russia. The news was broken by Kristen Welker of NBC News.
And I are unable to make a deal on stopping the bloodshed in Ukraine. And if I think it was Russia's fault, which it might not be, but if I think it was Russia's fault, I am going to put secondary tariffs on all oil coming out of Russia. Mr. Trump said 25% tariffs on Russian oil could happen any moment and told me he plans to speak with President Putin this week. The president told me, quote, I was very angry, pissed off when Putin started getting into Zelensky's credibility and started talking about new leadership in Ukraine.
So Trump now all of a sudden is offended that Putin is criticizing Zelensky and saying he's not legitimate. This is the same Donald Trump, I don't even remember this, Kurt, who called Zelensky not too long ago a dictator. And
I know it kicked off the "Do you call so and so a dictator?" wars of that week, I recall.
Yeah, and then of course when he was asked about that at the White House shortly afterwards, he forgot that he had called Zelensky that.
Zelensky is a dictator. Did I say that? I can't believe I said that. Next question.
So Trump forgot he called Zelensky a dictator, and now he's offended that Putin would dare question Zelensky's legitimacy in the way.
Did I say it was a bad idea to bomb Yemen? I don't remember.
We're going to get to that actually. So anyway, but Trump threatening to put tariffs on Russia if it didn't enter into the kind of talks that Trump wants with Ukraine. That stirred a lot of excitement. People are giddy that Trump is finally getting tough with Russia in their view. And among those who says that Trump has been tough all along is a Trump ally, Senator Markwayne Mullin of Oklahoma.
What has happened here is that Putin, he doesn't feel, is negotiating on actual terms. He keeps delaying. And what President Trump has said right now is if he continues to play games, he's going to get tough on Russia, just like he did in 2017 in Syria when Russia was doing the bidding for Assad and he took back the airspace from Russia because they wanted to deliver weapons that the president has warned them not to do. That same message in 2017 is being delivered now by President Trump saying, if you don't get on board with ending the killing in Ukraine, then we will go after you through sanctions. And anybody that does business with you, they will also be sanctioned and have a tariff put on their country as well. President Trump makes very clear where his positions are, and he's tough on all situations, but he's wanting to go through diplomacy first before anything else takes place. So him having a friendship or trying to have a relationship with Russia before this goes to this place was the right move. Now he's saying he's done. So either Putin comes to the table, negotiates a peace deal, or he's going to move on and take an alternative plan.
So that is Markwayne Mullin insisting that Trump is now going to get tough with Putin. The problem is, though, Trump quickly backed off this just a few hours later.
Yeah, I was going to say, no, he's not. Well, first of all, we can't beat any of these people in a war. None of them. We can't beat any of them.
No, we can't. In fact, there's a whole big New York Times article. It's so long I haven't finished it yet about how basically the U.S. ran the war in Ukraine. Like surprise, surprise, that like the command center was at a U.S. air base in Germany and they were picking the targets for Ukraine. And the takeaway from the article is it's a typical New York Times spin. They're just like, yeah, the reason we lost is because Ukraine didn't follow our orders. It's not because Russia beat us. It's because Ukraine didn't listen. Like, yeah, okay.
Right. Yeah.
But here is Trump backing off already pretty quickly on his threat to put tariffs on Russian oil.
Would you say your relationship with Vladimir Putin is at its lowest point right now?
No, I don't think so. I don't think he's going to go back on his word. You're talking about Putin. I don't think he's going to go back on his word. I've known him for a long time. We've always gotten along well, despite the Russia hoax. It's a hoax created by Clinton and Schiff and all of these lunatics. And that really was a dangerous point. That was a very dangerous thing they did to this country. It was a pure, unadulterated scam, hoax. But no, I think he'll be okay. But if he isn't, I was disappointed in a certain way. Some of the things that were said over the last day or two having to do with Zelensky, because when he considers Zelensky not credible, he's supposed to be making a deal with him, whether you like him or you don't like him. So I wasn't happy with that. But I think he's going to be good. And I certainly wouldn't want to put secondary tariffs on Russia, but if they were put on, it would not be very good for them.
So Trump doesn't sound as confident there about his threat. He's saying Putin and I know each other. We get along well, and he's good. I think it's going to be fun.
How old is that clip? I feel like I saw that a long time ago, or is this the same thing he's saying again?
That's just one day old. Yeah, this is a new clip. Yeah.
Oh, so he's complained about the Russiagate thing.
Oh yeah,
from the plane several times because I've seen him talking about the Schiff and the lunatics. I mean, he's right about that part of it. Is he getting frustrated because so much other stuff is being held up that if Putin's not playing ball with his deal, there's like a lot of stress, and then he has an outburst?
He's impatient. He's impatient. I think he was expecting that just because if he talks nice about Putin, that everything will be fine. But you got to come to the table. And the problem is, as this recent New York Times article makes clear, the U.S. is a participant in the war. And so if the U.S. wants it to stop, they have to negotiate with Russia as well. And Russia wants some serious concessions. Not just NATO. Not
he's not in charge. We already know. He's not in charge because when he tried to make a deal, And our good friend Bojo from England went and cocked it up on NATO orders. So if I watched an interview with Tucker Carlson with Putin, and a lot of, I watch like on the Hill and on Breaking Point, they're like, oh, he was going on about history, because America's dumb compared to Russians. It's pathetic. But Putin didn't know who the hell's in charge of America. That was very clear from the interview. Because I make a deal, they come back and the deal's not done. So I don't know who I'm dealing with. And I got to say, I could sympathize with him on that. So maybe he doesn't want to talk to the puppet. Maybe he wants to talk to the man. And Trump's going, no, I need you to talk to the puppet because Lindsey Graham, my good friend, he's made, like Trump's beholden all these dipshits. So he wants Putin to be his friend and play along. Is that, am I analyzing this correctly?
100%. And to be fair, here is Trump actually criticizing Zelensky as well.
I think Zelensky, by the way, I see he's trying to back out of the rare earth deal. And if he does that, he's got some problems, big problems. We made a deal on rare earth. And now he's saying, well, I want to renegotiate the deal. He wants to be a member of NATO. Well, he was never going to be a member of NATO. He understands that. So if he's looking to renegotiate the deal, he's got big problems. Go ahead.
He gave him to England already, so he's got to stall and do nonsense, right? He promised it to England, didn't he?
Yeah, and this deal that he wants Zelensky to sign, it would create a new board where the majority would be staffed by Americans, a board in charge of Ukraine's minerals. So basically, Ukraine would be handing over its entire mineral wealth to the U.S. and get nothing in return. Trump is not even offering Ukraine.
Good. All that money we sent that they spent on houses. Good. By the way, is there any truth to the idea that the minerals are in the part Russia has and not the part Zelensky has?
Yeah, there is truth to that. And also, even the minerals that Ukraine controls, they're not as valuable as Ukraine says they are. I think Trump is just doing this because he wants to humiliate Zelensky and get something that he can show to the U.S., to the American public and say, look, I got this commitment to pay us back for all the money we spent. I think that's what it's about.
That's how I feel. I'm like, yeah, give us your minerals after all that crap.
Yeah. Well, Trump not happy right now with anybody, Putin and Zelensky, but looks like he's backing off his threat to Russia because he realizes that if he puts sanctions on Russian energy, that will raise the costs for average Americans, which is the last thing that he needs right now. So that this looks like another empty threat coming from Trump.
He's already streaming MAGA with this Social Security talk and the unquestioning, I would say, Sirhan-like obedience to Israel.
Amen to that.
All right, be honest. Haven't you noticed yourself moving slower, avoiding stairs, feeling stiff in the morning? If so, pay attention. The truth is, mobility doesn't just vanish overnight. It's a slow decline. And before you know it, you're the guy making weird noises every time you get off the couch. But by the time you pay those grunts enough attention, it can feel too late. But it doesn't have to be. That's where Juvent comes in. This isn't some gimmick or magic pill. It's a clinically proven device that uses safe, low-impact micro vibrations to strengthen your bones, improve circulation, and keep your joints working the way you're supposed to. Notice I said micro vibrations. This is nothing like those other shake plates on the market, which, by the way, can be extremely dangerous. I stand on my Juvent for just 20 minutes a day. And it's made a noticeable difference in how I feel. It's like giving your body a tune-up before it completely breaks down. Athletes, doctors, even NASA use the thing. And if it's good enough for astronauts, well, by golly, it's good enough for me. With a 10-year limited warranty, financing options, and the ability to use FSA funds, it's never been easier. So don't wait until your knees sound like a bowl of Rice Krispies. Get a Juvent today. Go to juvent.com/door and start moving like you're supposed to. That's juvent.com/door. Code DOOR for $500 off at checkout. Your joints will thank you. Trust me. Come see us on tour in Hartford, Connecticut, Syracuse, New York, Atlantic City, Levittown, New York, Cohoes, New York, Los Angeles, Bakersfield, San Jose, Buffalo, Toledo, Montreal, and Toronto. Go to jimmydore.com for the cheapest tickets.